I've seen a lot of things in my time, folks, but let me tell you, there are some things in life that are just priceless, things that you can never get back once they're gone. We've all heard the stories, people auctioning off their virginity. Why is this one thing, this one experience, considered so valuable? It's about recognizing that it's a big deal. It's going to shape your future relationships, your self-image, everything. Let's get one thing straight, folks. Sex is more than just a physical act. It's an emotional roller coaster. You're vulnerable, you're exposed, and you're sharing a part of yourself that you can't get back. Think about it. When you're emotionally ready, you're able to handle the complex feelings that come with being intimate with someone. You're able to communicate your needs, your boundaries, and you're able to respect theirs. But when you're not emotionally ready, that's when things can go south real fast. You might feel pressured, confused, or even used. And trust me, those are feelings you don't want to be carrying around. So, how do you know if you're emotionally ready? Well, it's different for everyone, but one thing's for sure: if you're having doubts, if you're feeling pressured, or if you're just not sure, then it's a sign that you need to pump the brakes. You can't truly be intimate with someone else until you're comfortable with yourself. Know who you are, what you stand for, and what you want out of life. Your sense of self is like a house. Build a strong foundation before adding rooms and decorating. That foundation is your self-esteem, values, and beliefs. Take the time to work on yourself. Build that strong foundation. Look, we all make mistakes. It's part of being human. But when it comes to something as important as your virginity, you don't want to just be winging it. You need to be mature enough to make a thoughtful decision, one that you can live with down the road. Maturity isn't about how old you are. It's about your ability to think critically, to weigh the consequences of your actions, and to take responsibility for your choices. It's about understanding that every action has a reaction, and that some things, once done, can't be undone. Rushing into sex without thinking it through, that's like jumping out of a plane without a parachute. You might think it's going to be a thrill, but you're not really thinking about the landing, are you? Now, this isn't about saying you're not ready, that you're not mature enough. It's about recognizing that maturity is a process, not a destination. It's about taking the time to learn and grow, to understand yourself and the world around you. Think about it. You wouldn't jump into the driver's seat without taking some driving lessons, would you? You'd want to learn the rules of the road, understand how the car works, and practice in a safe environment. The same goes for sex. It's not something you just instinctively know how to do. It's something you learn about, something you discuss with your partner, something you approach with respect and understanding. And that takes maturity. It takes the willingness to educate yourself, to communicate openly, and to make responsible choices. It's about respecting yourself, respecting your partner, and understanding the weight of the decision you're making. You wouldn't build a house on sand, would you? Of course not. It'd be unstable, unsafe, and likely to collapse at the first sign of trouble. The same principle applies to relationships and life choices. Sex is a big deal. It's not just a physical act. It's about emotional intimacy, trust, and respect. You're weaving your life together with another person's, and that requires a solid foundation. Before you even think about taking that step, ask yourself, is this relationship built on solid ground? Is there mutual respect, open communication, and genuine care? If you're rushing into a sexual relationship without that foundation, you're setting yourself up for potential hurt, disappointment, and even danger. Take your time, build that foundation strong, and you'll be grateful you did. Look, I've been doing this a long time, and I can tell you one thing for certain. Your gut knows. Deep down, you know when something feels right and when something feels off. If you're feeling pressured, uncertain, or like you're compromising your values, that's a huge red flag. Don't ignore those feelings. They're trying to tell you something important. Talk to someone you trust, a parent, a counselor, a friend who's been there. Get their perspective, listen to your gut, and don't let anyone pressure you into something you're not ready for. Remember, this is your life, your body, your choice. Make it a decision you can be proud of, one that comes from a place of strength and self-respect. Let's talk about peer pressure for a minute. You know, that feeling that everyone's doing it and you're the only one who isn't? Let me tell you something. That's rarely the truth. Just because people talk a big game doesn't mean they're actually living it. And even if they are, it doesn't mean you have to follow suit. You are an individual with your own values, your own timeline, and your own journey. Don't let anyone tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing with your body. It's easy to get caught up in the moment, to want to fit in. But real strength comes from standing your ground and making choices that align with your own values. Real friends, true friends, won't pressure you into anything that makes you uncomfortable. They'll respect your boundaries, support your decisions, and have your back no matter what. If you're surrounded by people who are constantly pushing you to do things you're not ready for, it might be time to reevaluate those relationships. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, not drag you down. Remember, saying no to pressure doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. It shows that you have the self-respect and the courage to stand up for what you believe in. And let's be clear, if someone is pressuring you to become sexually active, that's not cool. That's a major sign of disrespect, and it's a huge red flag. You deserve to be treated with respect, and your boundaries deserve to be honored. Let's talk about something nobody likes to talk about, but everybody needs to hear: sexually transmitted infections, or STIs. Look, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. STIs are real, they're out there, and they can have serious consequences. We're talking about long-term health issues, fertility problems, and even life-threatening conditions. Now, I know this might not be the most fun part of the conversation, but it's a conversation we need to have. Your health is important, and protecting yourself from STIs is a crucial part of taking care of yourself. The truth is, the best way to eliminate the risk of getting an STI is to abstain from sexual activity. It's the only 100% effective method. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you, but to empower you. Knowledge is power, and the more you know about the risks, the better equipped you are to make informed decisions. Educate yourself, talk to your doctor, visit a trusted website, and learn about the different types of STIs, how they're spread, and how to protect yourself. If you are considering becoming sexually active, talk to your doctor about getting tested. It's important to know your status and to take the necessary precautions to protect yourself and your partner. Remember, your health is precious. Take care of your body, make smart choices, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Look, becoming sexually active is a big deal. It ain't just about a physical act, it's about the potential consequences that come with it. And one of the biggest consequences you gotta be prepared for is an unplanned pregnancy. This ain't about judging anyone. This is about facing facts. Unplanned pregnancies can throw a real wrench in your life. We're talking about a whole lot of responsibility, a whole lot of emotional turmoil, and a whole lot of life changes that you might not be ready for. Now, I'm not saying that every unplanned pregnancy is a negative thing, but I am saying that it's a big decision, one that deserves careful consideration. You need to be in a place where you're emotionally, financially, and practically equipped to handle the responsibility of a child. Let's be real here, folks. There are ways to engage in intimacy without having intercourse, and using protection is crucial, but it ain't foolproof. Accidents happen, and you gotta be prepared for that. If you're not ready to be a parent, then you gotta be proactive about preventing pregnancy. Talk to your doctor, explore different forms of contraception, and make sure you're using them correctly and consistently. Listen, I'm not here to preach abstinence. I'm here to tell you to get real with yourself. Are you truly ready for the potential consequences of sex? If not, then pump the brakes a little bit. Waiting isn't about denying yourself pleasure. It's about respecting yourself enough to make responsible choices. It's about taking control of your body and your future. All right, let's talk about you for a minute. Your teenage years, your 20s, these are crucial times for self-discovery and personal growth. You're figuring out who you are, what you want out of life, and what you stand for. Now, I'm not saying that sex is going to derail all that, but I am saying that it can sometimes complicate things. Relationships, especially early on, can be all-consuming. They can take up a lot of emotional energy and time that you could be spending on yourself. Think of it like this. You're building an empire, your empire. You've got your education, your career aspirations, your passions, your dreams. These are all building blocks in the foundation of your future. Don't let anything, especially not the pressure to be sexually active, distract you from building the best damn empire you can. Focus on yourself, invest in yourself, and watch yourself grow. Listen, I know you're bombarded with messages that tell you that you need to be sexually active to be cool, to be accepted, to be loved. But let me tell you something. Those messages are full of it. Real confidence, real self-worth that comes from within. It comes from knowing who you are, what you want, and refusing to settle for anything less. It comes from pursuing your passions, developing your talents, and becoming the best version of yourself. And let me tell you something else. That kind of confidence is way more attractive than any fleeting physical connection. So be patient. Focus on yourself. The right person will appreciate you for who you are, not for what you've done sexually. And when you do decide to share that part of yourself, it'll be from a place of strength, maturity, and genuine connection. Let's talk about relationships for a second. Real, meaningful relationships, the kind that last, they're built on a foundation of trust. And trust, that ain't something you build overnight. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes vulnerability. Now, I'm not saying that you can't build trust if you're sexually active, but I am saying that waiting can be a powerful way to deepen that trust. When you choose to wait, you're saying to your partner, I respect you enough to take things slow. I trust you enough to be vulnerable with you, even without physical intimacy. That kind of trust, that's the bedrock of a strong, healthy relationship. It's the kind of trust that allows you to weather storms together, to communicate openly and honestly, and to build a love that lasts. Look, intimacy isn't just about physical touch. It's about emotional connection. It's about feeling safe and secure with someone, about being able to be your true, authentic self without fear of judgment. And that kind of intimacy, that takes time to cultivate. It takes shared experiences, it takes open communication, and it takes a willingness to be vulnerable with each other. Waiting to have sex can actually enhance your emotional intimacy. It allows you to get to know each other on a deeper level, to build a strong emotional connection before you add the physical aspect. And let me tell you something, folks, that kind of slow-burning intimacy, that's the kind that lasts. Look, we're not just talking about some arbitrary checklist here. This is about your values, the core principles that guide your life. These values, they're the compass that points you in the right direction. They're the foundation of your integrity, your self-respect. Don't let anyone pressure you into doing something that doesn't sit right with you. Don't ever underestimate the importance of staying true to yourself. Make it a decision that aligns with who you are and what you believe in. Life is full of decisions, and some are bigger than others. The ones that shape who you become need a clear head and firm values. Choices aligned with your core beliefs set a standard for how others treat you. You're sending a message. This is who I am. People will respond to that. They'll see your strength and respect you for it. Even if they don't agree, they'll admire your commitment. Hold your head high, stay true, and make decisions you can be proud of. We've all been there, haven't we? Lying awake at night, replaying a decision in our heads, wondering what if? Regret is a heavy burden to carry, and when it comes to something as significant as your virginity, it's a burden you don't want to shoulder. The truth is, you can't go back in time. You can't undo the past, but you can learn from it. And one of the most valuable lessons you can learn is the importance of making choices that align with your gut, your heart, and your head. When you rush into something, whether it's because of pressure from others or just a desire to fit in, you increase the chances of waking up one day and wishing you could hit the rewind button. But when you wait until you're truly ready, until you're confident in your decision, you're far less likely to be haunted by regret. There's a lot of pressure to fit in, to follow the crowd. But your virginity isn't about keeping up with the Joneses. It's about you, your future, your happiness. Waiting until you're ready isn't about denying yourself. It's about choosing the right moment for you. This is your life, and you get to choose how to live it. Your time will come, and you'll be glad you waited. We've covered a lot of ground here today, folks, and I hope you've heard me loud and clear. Your virginity is a precious gift, one that deserves to be treated with respect and consideration. It's not about being prude or old-fashioned. It's about owning your sexuality, making empowered choices, and refusing to let anyone else dictate your timeline. It's about understanding that waiting for the right moment, the right person, and the right reasons is a sign of strength, not weakness. So take your time, trust your gut, and never be afraid to stand up for what you believe in. This is your life, your body, your choice. Make it count,